Hi, everyone. Today I'll be talking to you about the art of listening, something that we do every day on a regular basis, and we presume we do it really well. And it's quite a subconsciously programmed thing in our system. So we assume we're listening, but are we really listening? It doesn't come naturally as we think it does. And it has to be much more intentional if we are to realize the full benefits of good listening. So today, let's see what the details of the talk are. We are going to talk about why listening is important. What is the communication model? We'll talk about active listening and how to do this and the barriers to listening. So why is listening important? So listening is really the first step in a good communication, in a good dialogue. And we do all need to communicate every day to navigate through our decisions, to get through our personal goals, our professional goals, collaborate on projects, on business related items. So we do always need to communicate with other people, and listening and perception building are the first step towards a rapport building and then to communication. So if people can't relate to each other, there is an issue. If people can't listen, then there cannot be good communication. So let's look at what are the benefits of good listening. So number one, it builds trust amongst people. When we make the effort to listen to someone, they recognize our interest, and they can see that we are invested in what they are doing, or what they're telling us. So it's important that being open and listening is we do it much more intentionally. It encourages empathy, and because when you listen well, you understand where the other person is coming from, and there's a greater understanding of each other's position on something, and based on that a good relationship is formed. So important relationships are the stepping stone to doing work in this world, to getting through the day, to getting tasks accomplished. It's important that we build good relationships, and listening is a great first step in doing that. It also reduces misunderstandings, because if we aren't listening, we're going to mishear or misinterpret something. It also reduces conflict, because if you're not listening well, it frustrates people. People want to feel respected, and it is tied to listening and understanding them. So yes, it's important. Listening is important even in conflict resolution. And also then it finally does improve productivity, because we are more likely to then retain information, understand what's being required of us, and ask the right questions. It's also very valuable in group projects, meetings. It's also a great leadership trait, because if you're a good listener, people come and talk to you, they connect with you, and you can hear many more perspectives and new ideas. A good leader will ensure that people are feeling respected and heard, and it improves their stature in the organization as well. So these are a few reasons why listening is so important. Now, if you look at this communication model, between the message being sent by the communicator and the receiver receiving it, there's many things that can go wrong. One, the message itself might not be correct, or it might not have all the elements needed in the message. It might not go through the right medium, which is email or intranet or messaging. So the medium might be incorrect, the timing might be wrong, etc. And also there's all this noise in all the steps. There are distractions and other factors which are taking people's attention away from the message. And by the end of it, when the receiver does get the message, does he really understand what we were trying to communicate? So it's already quite a complex process. So if we are not even listening, then there's enough that can go wrong in this process. Now, what are some active listening techniques, and what is active listening? Now, active listening is really when we are mentally interacting with what we're hearing without getting distracted. Um, so it's not just about hearing, it's about asking questions, about providing reinforcement with cues, verbal and non-verbal cues, nodding our head and engaging in that conversation. And really, or we could even restate and what the speaker just said, just to say, okay, this is what I understood. Is this where you were going with this? So using a few active listening techniques and engaging with that conversation in a fully present fashion can be very beneficial to the relationship, to the interaction, and it facilitates a lot many good things. So instead of being an accidental and involuntary process, active listening becomes focused, voluntary, and very intentional. And that's what's needed in facilitating greater good and just better interaction and relationships. Now, what are some of the barriers to listening? So today, all of us are being bombarded with millions of bits of information, news, broadcasts, podcasts, whatever you say. So we need to find a way to be focused, and distraction does really take away. So as far as possible, we should switch off our phones in important discussions. We should be very present in that context. Excessive talking can actually prevent listening, because our brain cannot be in both places, talking as well as it needs to be more focused. Then prejudice or having preconceived notions in our head when someone's giving their opinion can take away from their credibility, and in our minds that, because we've got a prejudice saying, oh, I know this is where it's going, I know where this person always takes the conversation, so let's avoid that. And always expecting others to share exactly your feelings and beliefs and values is not fair, because they're coming from their own sort of space which reflects their values and beliefs, and we should be open-minded and listening to that. Then bringing in a lot of emotion to discussions can take away, because we already got things bubbling away under the surface, whether it's anger or frustration. If we bring all our emotions to a conversation, we will certainly take away from it. We will not be listening, because we've got things going on which are coloring up what we are hearing and the way we hear it and the way we interpret the conversation. Noise, like we said, distractions, noise, filtering of various kinds, and fear. Oh, that we already fear what will happen if this conversation goes this way. We are already making scenarios in our head. We're already thinking of the things that can go wrong. So these are some of the barriers to listening we should be aware of. And we will talk about communication in greater detail in the next presentation. If you want to get in touch with us, here's our details, our email and LinkedIn pages, etc. We are specialists in career coaching, transition planning, personal development. We do master classes in public speaking. So thank you so much for your time today, and I hope to speak to you again very soon. Thank you.